managed to fashion. And De Bruyne from Chelsea.
Couldn't agree more. I think what was nice was the intensity and the tempo that we played the game at. Okay, obviously helped out by the opposition as well, but I thought our quality shone through. I think it's as well set us up for the second half, you know, because the players that were watching, most of these players, bar one or two, will have to keep that intensity, keep that tempo going. Otherwise, they're going to let themselves down. The season was very, very lovely. Give the club a lift and a boost from winning games, but you know, this is all about getting in the first team for the first game of the season. So, where they've seen a good performance from the first set of players, they need to see it again from the second set. I'm sure these guys will do everything they can to go on and score more goals.
You can see the 11 who are now out running across the bottom of your picture. Gary Cahill partnered in central defence. Hinkle and Hazard remaining from the first half. Andre Schürrle to impress again. His second appearance. I was going to say in Chelsea blue, in Chelsea white. Nice kit that actually, isn't it?
I've always liked that style, that white. See, we're looking. It's always a good one to play in because you can see players better and movement looks bright. It's always good under lights as well.
As mentioned in the first half, you can see that massive blue on the far side there. Plenty of encouragement for the Malaysia 11 whenever they came forward, but I think we know who the majority of the crowd inside the Shah Alam Stadium have come to see. 68,000 when it's full, this ground, and certainly some way to capacity. Certainly a huge capacity, a huge crowd by Malaysian Super Leagues. Just looking to cause a problem maybe at the start of the half, but Ashley Cole sliding in to win it back, and now a break on for Eden Hazard. Look at Schürrle eating up the ground. It's gone right instead. Victor Moses. Rich passage man as if he wasn't there at the second, but he just overran it. A great defending from the Malaysian team, but Victor Moses with the first chance to stretch his legs.
Yeah, it was good to see him doing that as well. When we've seen him at his best last season was when he was being positive and direct. And that's good play by him, doing what he does well. Just the ball ran away from him a little bit. He'll be disappointed with that, but as you said, Matt, you know, defensively reasonably poor by the Malaysian side, and gave him the opportunity, but just let the ball run away from him.
Moses and Schürrle joining Hazard out there in that front three. When you think that Mata and Oscar are still to come back into it, really is an embarrassment with Richards in that area of the pitch for Jose Mourinho. Wow, that looked nasty on Hazard.
Yeah, and to be honest, the ball into him was just a little bit short. Just gave the defender a chance to dive in. Schürrle's ball just gave him an opportunity. I don't think it's a good pass. Unfortunately, Hazard tried to keep the ball, but been challenged from behind. It looks like he's okay.
Shari it was who went steaming in, but thankfully, Hazard is back up on his feet. Shout to Wallace, who won the penalty which won the match on Wednesday evening. It's Gary Cahill, just his second pre-season with Chelsea. Cahill seems to have been around for longer than that, doesn't he? Already twice a European champion. Ramirez, who sprints it wide to Denver Bar, his first involvement in the game, all on the overlap.
That's good defending in the end, to be fair. Again, link-up play, not quite there from Denver Bar. I thought he could have done more on the ball to create a better angle for Ashley Cole. And his pass really offered it to the defender more than to Ashley on the overlap. But good to see Ashley, and I think he'd be pleased with the run. You know, something like that, good 40, 50-yard sprint. Comes up the lungs in his early part of the second half. It just gets you going.
Scored in Malaysia, did Ashley Cole when Chelsea came here in 2008 and won 2-0.
Missed the one goal
last season. The game late on against Stoke, pretty early on in the campaign at Stamford Bridge. Farizal, the Malaysian goalkeeper, who didn't cover himself in glory in the first half. His kicking wasn't great. He maybe could have done better for at least one of the goals. He had absolutely no chance with De Bruyne's. Here's Schürrle. He's gone for it, and that bounced up awkwardly in front of Farizal, and he dealt with it well.
Yeah, I thought that was a good chance for Schürrle to show something. You know, we want these new players that are coming into the side to show what they're all about. His first touch was excellent. The ball's bounced up a little bit for him, and maybe a bobbly pitch probably didn't suit him there. He might try to take on the last defender on another day, but I think that was a chance for him to show the Chelsea fans and the manager maybe something a little bit different. Took the shot on. If it had screamed into the top corner, I'd have held my hands up and said, well done, but I just think he's better on the ball than that, and I think he should have taken it on a little bit further.
He's got a goal in him, Schürrle. He got 11 of them in the Bundesliga for Leverkusen last season. Just off the field momentarily, so Chelsea playing with 10. Schürrle again. Losing out.
Yeah, again, often I said in commentary about Ramirez's body shape. You know, they've seen that the ball there, it's all wrong for him. It didn't suit him at all, and he's lost possession, and now we're under pressure. He's got back well, though.
I just couldn't get it out of his feet in time to shoot. Looked the most dangerous player for the home side in the first half.
Well, 1 against 4, and we should be able to defend that, and we do. Just trying to get a quick turn. Ramirez back very, very quickly. That's always when players do make the odd mistake. Just really quickly get back into position.
He's back in confidence. Get a bit more involved than he did in the first half. That's a nice ball out to Bar. Bar's gone for it. Keeper spills it. Or did he get lucky? He just shoveled it behind. For a corner, it could just have easily have fallen to Victor Moses.
Now, Denver Bar's got a good strike away here, hasn't he? Got it bang on target. Frustrating out.
A good delivery. That's the second time he's done that.
2 out of 2, isn't it? Different type of corner as well. You know, we've seen corners all last season. We've already seen them in the game the other day, whereas they all came into near post area. But he's looking for the far post. Here's the shot from Bar. So shoveled away by the goalkeeper. Not the best of confident defending, you would say, by the keeper. If I was a defender, I'd be a little bit unsure about him. Of course, as an attacker from Chelsea's perspective, you'd look at it and say, maybe there's more opportunities here.
He's already touched the ball more times than he did pretty much throughout his appearance on Wednesday. First half then, second half tonight. Some genuine competition for him with Mark Schwarzer. Certainly a really reliable backup should he be needed, but it might help Czech as much as it's helping Chelsea having more depth in the goalkeeping roster.
Yeah, I would agree with that. As always with goalkeepers, though, you want perfection. We've got used to that with Czech. What a pass that is.
Beautiful slide through ball. Van Hinkel's cross looking for Bar. Turned away for the corner.
Well, again, not quite crossing the T's and dotting the I's there for me, but that pass is superb, and this ball in is poor. I think, again, decent ball in. There's 2 players, Victor Moses as well as Bar, running onto it. A ball with more pace, more power, could have found either one. Van Hinkel just couldn't quite get the delivery he was looking for.
Third time lucky, Hazard.
Shoveled that one in as well, didn't he?
Stayed in play at least. Schürrle. To Moses. Schürrle again. So I might hit that toward goal. To Curley. to throw.
Again, good running off the ball by Schürrle. Just gets a little bit too much on the cross, but Eden Hazard was able to pick it up. We see the underlapping run. Intelligent play, just gets too much on the ball, doesn't he?
More changes coming. This is Safik Rahim, who we were expecting to start the game. He's the captain of the Garasami players off. It's Hazard. It was his peach of a pass that took Mackle away a moment ago. Schürrle. It's not quite up to speed yet. Oh, good ball from Cole to Schürrle.
Great pass, isn't it? Again, those gaps just coming into play. Schürrle couldn't quite make anything of it in the end, but see one or two of those passes now, finding the gaps in the back line. What's nice to see though, Matt, is the intensity has stayed there. Tempo's been good. Movement, the passing has been sharp. I would say expect to see another goal at some stage soon.
For Azim was the third substitution there. Hope you're keeping up at home. Trying our best. Mr. Hamid, one of the recent introductions. Shot back his way by Bar. Hazard advanced to the ball. Back to Bar. Moses in space right side. Flicked in the direction of Hazard, who gets his head to it, almost finds the net. Well, that would have been a collector's item, wouldn't it? Headed goal from Eden Hazard. He got one at West Brom last season, I remember, but it's not his speciality by any means. He made a good connection.
Fair to Victor Moses as well. This is a lovely little flighted ball in. He's picked out Eden Hazard. And technically, that's excellent. We know he's not the biggest of players. He's not going to overjump, 6-foot defenders. But technically, that's a decent header. So the technique's there. If he gets a free header, who knows? He might score some goals. But he's unlucky not to put that into the side netting because the goalkeeper, again, well beaten.
Just having a look across the line to see if anybody's there to help him out. It's arriving now. It's been pretty reserved so far, just a couple of overlapping runs. Certainly more involved in the second half. He's lost the ball there, but wins it back just as quickly.
As we said in the first half with Romelu Lukaku, he was enjoying the rough and tumble of the game. And I would think Demba Ba equally is probably enjoying that. As long as he gets the free kicks, I don't think he'll mind people leaning in and just taking his legs away. That's part of the physical side of the game, which we don't often see at Premier League level, but I don't think players mind that too much.
2 goals in 2 games for Lukaku. Does that put a bit of pressure on Demba Ba?
I think it puts pressure on him and Torres at the moment. We always want to see our strikers scoring goals. I think Romelu Lukaku's come back from West Bromwich Albion with a bit of a reputation, a better one than we should say than when he left. And with that, he scored goals. Yeah, it certainly does put the pressure on. But it's what you want, it's what you need, and I'm sure that'll help everybody in what is going to be up and coming a very tough season.
You think we've got David Luiz, Oscar Azpilicueta, Mata, Torres and Mikel all to come back into the squad. There is real depth.
Could have almost played 3 teams today.
Every reason to be optimistic ahead of August the 18th against Hull. Heroes looking for Shirley, who's straight offside.
Just run away from him. Was it offside or was it a well-timed run? He's trying to pick him out. It's a good run by Shirley. We see it again. Is that offside? Well, I think if he'd have received the ball, maybe, yeah, the flag has gone up, but maybe just half a yard, just about.
Hour played at the Shah Alam Stadium. 3 goals to the good. A couple of chances since half-time. It's somewhat have the feel of a pre-season friendly now, particularly as the result is not in doubt. Since De Bruyne made it 2-0 on 28. Every game of the pre-season tour here in Southeast Asia and in America, live on Chelsea TV. Let's get ready for what could be a momentous, certainly intriguing season, domestically and maybe in Europe as well.
Well, there's high expectations, isn't there, from all the Chelsea fans, I'm sure, after the last couple of seasons. So, really looking forward to the first game against Hull, and let's hope we get off to a good start. I think coming back to today's game, 60 minutes gone, what we want to see is the new players. And always as fans, you want to see what the new players offer to the squad for the coming season, and you want to see improvement in every game. Yes, we've dominated the ball, which is always positive for the strikers and the attacking midfield players, but also for defenders who've not had a great deal to do. What are we seeing from them? What are the thoughts of Jose Mourinho? We talked about Ivanovic looking like he's going to be predominantly a right back this season. We'll have to wait and see, of course. Lots of Wallace coming in, people like that we haven't seen a great deal of. But as defenders, for me, in these 2 opening games, we've not really been tested too much at the back. So the games in America will be slightly different, I think, where we might be under a little bit more pressure. So good test for everybody to come.
I think the Indonesia All-Stars game might follow a similar pattern to this one and the one in Bangkok, but certainly Inter Milan, and then it's either AC Milan or Valencia, who will offer up a different test. It's also going to be a friendly whilst Chelsea are in America against Roma on the 10th of August. Trying to win it back off Jasuli here. A couple of occasions the Malaysia 11 threatened in the first half, but really since the start of the second there's been very little from the home side. Maybe that will change now with Kunalan. Goodness me.
That's an awful dive, isn't it? And do you know what worries me is that he was thinking of doing that before any contact was ever going to appear. He's got nowhere to go. He just thought, well, I'll push it forward and dive. And that is the embarrassment sometimes of football. And that's the side of the game we don't want to see.
Spot going on the Malaysian Olympic diving team, maybe. They might be able to fill it.
But those players have got to be booked. You know, I don't care if this is a pre-season friendly. I think he should give, because it's
desperation is Malaysia to at least get a goal. The coach has been talking about how this is the big game for them. They'll build a couple of low-profile friendlies. It's a good ball in towards Moses. The goalkeeper under pressure.
He's unlucky. Oh, that would have been a goal all the way. Keeper was never getting there, was he? Never looked convincing. Decent ball in, giving him a problem. He's on his back foot, the goalkeeper. If he steps forward here, he'd probably take it quite cleanly, but he stands on his back foot, doesn't really get off the ground. If Demba Ba, another 2 or 3 inches taller than Victor Moses, I think it's a clean header for him. Poor goalkeeper, and as we've already said, makes so love any failure.
So Moses got into double figures in his first season as a Chelsea player, but just one of his goals came in the Premier League. That's an area he will no doubt be looking to improve on. The Europa League towards the end of the season, wasn't it? Ian Torres. 4 in the Europa League as Chelsea went on to collect the trophy, of course. Frustrating night for the number 9, Talaha. Usually plays out wide, but he prefers to play as a central striker. Check, sliding, and most being made to look silly. He's given it away. Well, there by Ramirez.
I'd like to think that he was in control of that situation. Had a check. I think he was a little bit out of his control. Really put under a lot of pressure from Callas from the free kick. Thankfully, he recovered though. Here's the ball into him again. He just struggling there. Tries to keep it. Gets the ball away.
Hazard is going to go for number 4, and he raises the side netting. Well, here's some good news. Kevin De Bruyne, who got what looked like a serious injury in the first half, we haven't had any confirmation as to what the injury is, but I can tell you that he is out there watching the second half. He walked out unaided, he sat on the bench watching the rest of the game, so that is a good sign. And here's another good sign. We were told Josh McEachran wouldn't be able to play due to a minor injury, but he's going to come on for a while. And Lucas Piazon is also going to get some action. Marco van Ginkel has played for 66 minutes. Comes McEachran. Off comes Hazard, who also started. 2 players who were out on loan last season. Piazon did play 3 games for Chelsea before going to Malaga. McEachran played 38 for Middlesbrough and was a really key part of Tony Mowbray's team.
It's good to see them in the fold, especially Josh. You know, we talked about him a season or so ago. Not developed to our level, but some good reports came out of Middlesbrough. And good to see him back, and let's hope he can get involved very, very quickly in the game. Piazon as well, a bright spark, a bright young player, one that we want to see another player develop as quickly as he possibly can.
Here's Cole. Sure, a couple more changes coming up for the hosts.
That's good vision by Josh McEachran. Unfortunately, Ashley Cole had just run off to an offside position. Maybe just delayed the pass slightly. More changes though.
Score at home. Comes Safi bin Modsali. Safi to his mates. Regarded as one of the top forwards in Southeast Asia. He's got 21 goals in 51 caps for Malaysia. So joining us is Azmi Faiz Mansour. Talaha, who got to play through the middle as he liked for 3/4 of the game. Withdrawn. Here the roar for Safi Salih is a big deal in Malaysia. He can provide something for those who come to support the hosts to cheer about. Chelsea looking for a second consecutive pre-season clean sheet, though.
That's given the fans a bit of a lift, hasn't it, making those changes? So, see fresh legs as well in the intense heat. Might give them a little bit of a lift, so it's good from our point of view as well. You know, we have to work a little bit harder defensively. Just wonder, though, if the changes do upset their whole makeup and maybe it might give us more opportunities. So it could be quite an open last 22 minutes or so.
Of course, would be known to Jose Mourinho his first day. His setup. It might be another season out on loan. Josh. So you want to make the most of his game time here. It's almost an own goal. Well, there's some miscommunication going on at the back for Chelsea, and it's looking like that's the most likely route to a goal for the Malaysia 11.
Well, there's one or two strange balls coming back to Petr, isn't there, that he's having to deal with. Something he's not used to, but obviously trying to encourage the players rather than berate them for the passes.
His corner wasn't the best. Here's again. By McEachran.
I think it was a foul as well. I think he's got it through Josh's legs and he's got a little bit unbalanced. Like in those situations, if you go to ground, you'll get the free kick. I don't think it was anything really intentional from Josh, but it's not a particularly good challenge from him either. So I'll accept a free kick on this occasion. But again, we need to be challenged in the middle. When crosses are coming in, we need to defend properly.
So I think Raheem's going to take the free kick. Only Ashley Cole to bend the ball around. That's 20 minutes now. It's a good looking delivery, an important defensive header from Schürrle.
It's a great ball in, isn't it? We have to give Malaysia, as we did the All-Star team the other day, credit for their deliveries into the box. They've been excellent.
It's Wallace. So it's just allowed to drift across the pitch. Tight to the left touchline. Right-footed, likes to cut in from that position. Saw that on Wednesday. Here's Wallace, who's driving run forward on the penalty that night. Barr returning his direction maybe to that.
We're good to see Wiseau doing what he does well when he does attack. Predominantly a full-back, right-back defensive position, but does like to attack and get himself into the box. Just a poor layoff from Denver Barr. Gave an opportunity for Malaysia to take the ball out. It will be a corner as they make more changes.
Do you want to announce this one?
Kununland coming off. And now we going on. Thanks, man.
Pre-season's all about, isn't it? Getting everybody involved in the squad. Just as important for those in the Malaysian national team, remember, it's their manager who's picked this 11. Have a look at his players. See if they can get to that Asian Cup in 2015 in Mark Schwartz's homeland of Australia. Happy to leave that.
Yeah, that's good communication, though. You know that Penacek's give a shout to Ashley to let that one run. Tacker was never getting to the ball, and he knew it was going to drift his way. So good communication between two experienced players.
Sure. It's all about building momentum, team bonding, the fitness where it should be, and the cohesion as a unit. Despite the changes, well, I guess it's helped Chelsea that they've done it in chunks. First half one team, second half another, effectively, rather than making substitutions every 5 or 10 minutes.
Yeah, and I think that's done intentionally, of course. But the difference is that sometimes you find in pre-season you're playing alongside someone who, you've got a good. Understanding with. Sometimes you haven't. You have to develop that. You have to improve that, because as the season wears on, that sort of situation will occur that you're going to be playing with someone you're not used to be playing alongside. So,
to rehydrate, a chance to get a message across. Humidity somewhere around 80%. Well, he'll be happy certainly with the first half performance. Has been the chance for more goals since half time.
Yeah, and I think at 3-0, I don't think I'd be too concerned about how many goals you score in the second half. I think it'd be more about the players as individuals, the players improving on their fitness. No more injuries. course. I think he'll be more than happy with the tempo and the intensity of the way we play. And the ones who've come on, getting up to speed as quickly as they possibly can. As we have with the situation of Gary playing after the two centre-backs, something Kekron showing what they can do, but getting into the speed of the game as quickly as they possibly can. So there are other issues as a part of just scoring goals in this second period.
Joining us late, the goals coming from Virgil after Lukaku with the last act of the first half, and in the third, which pretty much ended the game as a contest. Yeah, just real quality goals amongst them.
Yeah, we've seen some good quality, and I think there's no doubt there's a lot more to come. Just a small thing there with Wallace on the overlap and Victor Moses then dwelling on the ball. Little things like that for me. Either he's got to play it, or if he dwells on the ball and drags the ball back, got to use it better than he does, because I think it just leaves Wallace totally out of position. If he loses possession there, we're putting ourselves under pressure from the edge of the box. We know the Premier League side will counter-attack very, very quickly. I'd love to see him just put the ball into Wallace's path, just to see if he can get on the end of it. If he doesn't, and it goes out for a goal kick, for instance, then we've got players back in position. But when he doesn't give it to him, he's got to make something else happen, rather than just stand on the ball.
It's nice from McEachran. Good ball as well. Man's got the legs to get there. To go alone.
And again, I don't mind that from Demba. That's nice and positive. He's waited for support, but he can't wait too long. And all he's done is dragged it around the goalkeeper and tried to get a shot in at the near post. Again, with this goalkeeper, there's a possibility he can score from there. But he's done it the right way. The support's not there for him. He can't drag it back for anybody because the defender's there. So he's had to go himself. I don't mind that.
Be pleased if he can keep a clean sheet in the second half at least. If the captain Razak.
Barbie very pleased if he could get something before the end of the game. If he could score a goal, as we said earlier, Matt, pressure on all positions, but with strikers, of course, goals are what they all thrive on. Romelu's got his goals, and Demba Ba and Fernando Torres eventually, when we get to America, will be looking for goals, because that's what their name is all about. If Demba Ba can get a simple tap in from 3 or 4 yards, he'd be more than happy with that to finish the game off. So it's all about, in some ways, personal things now with 12 minutes to go plus injury time. Personal achievements, maybe, goals, shots from distance, good saves by goalkeepers, all those sorts of little individual things mean a lot to players at this stage of the game.
It's Piazon, haven't seen too much of him. Since he came on, now a chance to show us what he can do. It's simple to Wallace. This is McEachran.
Versus it's down. Again, maybe a little bit of tiredness creeping in, that tries not just running off the ball quite quickly enough. Here's Piazon.
He's profited from a couple of poor touches.
And again, you just mentioned the fact that Piazon's not been involved. He hasn't, and that's the disappointment for him. coming back to the club after being on loan and being given the opportunity in pre-season. Here we are, we've only coming up to 10 minutes to play and just not been involved. And managers, want to see something. He's just not produced as yet. For me, he's been too deep.
Well, that was a problem that he had at Malaga. He said he felt he was being played too deep in that side. Happy to do it, of course, but would prefer to be a couple of yards further forward in that front three.
I think so. I think, at the moment, if I was him, it's very difficult because you want to be disciplined and you want to do what the manager says. But just on occasions, I think sometimes players need to do things for themselves and they need to have their own mind and their own thoughts. Just pick the right moment and make a bursting run forward. He hasn't done that. He's looked tidy on the ball, and maybe he's listening.
Almost found Shirley. That's better, though.
That's better, that's positive, and I think that then makes the manager look up and say, well, at least he's looking positive, looks like he's trying to do something a little bit different, as opposed to just being nice and neat and tidy. We know he can do that. We want to see more.
A while since we've had a substitution. It's the skipper who picked up that injury a moment ago, Razak. It's going to go off, and that's 10 minutes we're going to see. Malaysia haven't threatened in the second half. A couple of times where Petacek's been put under pressure from his own defence, but very, very rarely by the hosts. Shannon's looked comfortable on the ball. Here comes Cole. Moses. Scooped over by McEachran, almost found Moses. It'll be a corner.
Nice to see when you see players running from deep, and Josh, when he's got a little bit of space, he'll find that exquisite pass, won't he? A bit of intervention, and that's what we're talking about, Matt. Something a little bit special, something a little bit different, just to make people sit up and say, he's got a good thing about him.
This is into the near post. Another chance to cross here. To Cole instead. Nice play between the two.
I think he's delayed his cross there, Victor Moses. I think he's got to take one touch and deliver. Just bash it across that 6-yard box. Plenty of players in there. I think he's just delayed it. He's trying to get his head up. He's trying to pick someone out. I don't think that's always possible. I think you've just got to read situations sometimes and just gamble on a decent, hard-driven ball into the box.
Here's Wallace. His attacking instincts curbed more in this game than they were on Wednesday. Yazon. He's got Wallace in space right side. He's seen him too. First time ball into the centre, just too far ahead of Piazon.
That's what I was talking about, Matt. Exactly what I was just saying from the other side a few moments ago. I mean, that's brilliant by Wallace. Great play by Josh just to pick him out, but the weight of the pass was perfect. And that's a superb ball in. That is excellent delivery from Wallace. 3 players running in. None of them quite get there. But again, another couple of games further down the line, I'd like to see at least 2 of those, the 3, almost getting on the end of it, if not knocking it into the back of the net. But good approach play. Nice early ball into the box.
Told Wallace is going out on loan next season, but he does look a prospect for the future, doesn't he?
He does, yeah. And as a young man, he's, again, we talk about impressive. He's a name that, if he goes out on loan, Chelsea fans that have seen him in these opening couple of games will remember. So he's certainly made his mark. And hopefully, whatever happens, whether he goes on loan or stays, we'd like to see some improvement, and that's a bright prospect.
Moving on for Jasuli, the latest change for Malaysia. A bit more than the Malaysia 11. Azon. Nice ball through to Moses, just straight offside.
He's got to stay onside there. What a lovely little turn and ball into his feet. Tight call possibly, but for me, Victor should be looking across the line here. He is offside. Piazon's done well. Lovely little filtered pass. That's better. He's higher up the park there, Piazon. And And that's what we were saying earlier on. You know, he's been coming up down to the halfway line, linking play up, but it's all been methodical. And you see him there, higher up the park, he sees those passes. And that's, for me, where he needs to be a lot more.
Ball by Bart.
Towering header, wasn't it, initially?
That's 5 minutes. Check left that, coolest man in the stadium. Seen much of Safi Salih since he came on, the number 10. That's as close as he's come to having a sniff of goal. That wasn't particularly close. Immediately put under pressure. Check going rim one this time. Is Schürrle. Equally comfortable on the right or the left. That's overhit though, looking for Bart. Just turn from Nawi. Up the ground as well. That the pass didn't match what had come before it.
No, you're right. It's a great turn, isn't it? And I think, again, it's all about Premier League matches. If we get players being able to turn that easy at that stage of the pitch, it might cause us more problems at the other end eventually, but final pass was poor.
Oh, he's cross. Well held by Cenk, because he hasn't had much to do.
Very good concentration. Decent ball in as well, isn't it, along the floor? It's not the most flatteringly deflected.
Split up just for a moment.
He's not had a lot to go for, has he? And as a striker, any ball into the box with a bit of pace like that, you get all excited and hope you can get something out of it. Sure, a little bit unlucky there.
I was going to say, that's not a free kick in the Premier League, is it?
Well, I just think coming together of bodies and weak play from the defender just fine. He's out of position and goes to ground very, very cheaply.
He's Ayub is the latest player to come on. Yaya had some hits in the first half as the game's gone on.
I wonder if they've got any more subs. I think they've had a few.
They've got 2 goalies that they haven't brought on, and that's about it.
Might as well put them on the pitch as well, I think. 3 minutes to go. But as always, you know, it's good to get players on the pitch. Just lose a little bit of that cohesion as a manager. Just wonder if you actually learned too much from it.
Side again against Moses.
Yeah, he's come back from an offside position, but it was a poor pass actually that put him in that situation.
So I guess the last thing to make sure we get from this match is a clean sheet. Other than that, it's been a good night's work. Now here's Moses. This time he's onside. Bar there with him. Needs to get it out his feet. Moses, oh, it's got in. Number 4. Victor Moses will get the goal. Big assist from Farizal in the Malaysia goal. Chelsea have a second half goal. Moses adds his name to the list of scorers. It's the Malaysia 11-0, Chelsea 4.
Well, we did question Farizal in goal, didn't we? That he might have been a weak link. Victor Moses has done much, much better on this one. He's actually looked across the line as you should do, and he's made sure he stays on side. There was no reason for him to drift on this occasion. Times his run to perfection. Big question mark about the goalkeeper, but he sets up the shot well. A little slip from a defender through the legs, and it's a decent enough drive, but that's poor goalkeeping by anybody's standard. I think Josh McEachran in the build-up there has done well. Good little pass, filtered ball through to help Victor Moses get into position, but no more than perhaps we deserve. Just poor goalkeeping has given us another goal.
Cherry on top of the cake. Number 4 right at the end of the match. Chance. Here for the home side. Oh, why didn't he go for goal? Nodded it back across Mohammed. Surely the option there was to try and test Jack.
Well, he should have hit the target back across to get a...
Now Chelsea might be able to get a fifth. Couldn't quite bring it under control.
Yeah, I'm not too sure if there was a slight chance of a foul there for them. The first touch and he might have gone away from the defender anyway. It's a ball by Ramirez though.
Well, this is going to give Asia a free kick in a position of promise. Just a little tug there.
Yeah, I thought it was a little tug, but he doesn't make anything of it. There's a chance at the other end. Does it hit Ashley? No. Stops him with his leg. Good defending again as always. Chance then maybe. We're going into injury time for
the player who's got a goal with tales of which he can bore his grandchildren with in years to come.
Well, to be fair to him, it's a good finish from a ricochet, and I think we have to compliment the free kick taker as well, Matt. It's a great ball into the box. Maybe a slight bit of criticism about our defending, and should we have got something on it? I think we should have done. I think Kalas should have maybe got a header in there and cleared his lines. Having said that, good reaction today from Petacek. It could have bounced anywhere. It paused kindly for a Malaysian player, and that's a good little finish from close range. A little bit disappointing that we let the goal in.
It's actually Bradley Shah who got it, the number 27.
But this is a good delivery. There. A good delivery, though, to be fair. Not the best defending by Chelsea.
A couple of players who could have put it in. Shah, the player who did so. So a slight disappointment to have conceded. Results rarely been in doubt, though. Ramirez. Still we play on. Certainly been some entertainment for the crowd.
Well, I think they would say they've enjoyed it. You know, it's been good intensity from Chelsea and good tempo. I think in pre-season friendlies you want to see that. You want to see players giving it all. Doesn't matter which players are out there. Big squad that Chelsea have got. So there's some big names out there for the Malaysian fans. I think the players have put on a decent performance with some good goals as well. It's better defended by the Malaysian backline. Moses just maybe going a little bit too soon.
Would be annoyed to have been beaten, that's for sure. Maybe 2 wins from 2 for Chelsea. One game in this part of the world to come on Thursday. That's to kick off UK time. Yeah, Indonesia All-Stars. That's too much of McEachran with this pass. Maybe they could get a second goal here. Well, it's a real chance too. And what a brilliant clearance off the line by Ashley Cole. How many times have we said that? Is that Ayoub? Annoyed that Cole was there in the right place at the right time.
Well, it's unlucky for the Malaysian side. They've worked it very well. And it's a decent strike. But Ashley Cole, brilliant defenders.
Here it comes. He's got his head to it. McEachran was. a goal all the way. Certainly I have thought so.
Here we see the ball into the box and finds good space around the penalty area, penalty spot, should I say. That's a decent strike as well. Personal disappointment for not scoring there.
There's the final whistle, though. Another victory for Chelsea. In the here to play, here to stay tour, a much more comfortable one, scoreline-wise, than Wednesday night, but a good workout nonetheless. It was 3-0 by half-time. Traore got the opener on 6 minutes. De Bruyne just got Chelsea's fourth, and into stoppage time, Shah pulled one back for the Malaysia 11. Chelsea, by far the better team on the night. We'll now head to Jakarta for the final game of this section of the pre-season tour. Handshakes all round. Final score here, Malaysia 11-1, Chelsea 4.